let's build a quad. So this is part two, I guess, of my quad build, and I'm gonna show you guys, how to build a quad. I'm sure you know how, or you could figure it out, but this is me doing it. And I've gone ahead and I've done a bunch of the boring stuff, so you don't have to sit and watch it. So I mean, like I've pre-tinned all of my motors and put the heat shrink on them. My frame is somewhat assembled. The camera part that goes on the front is somewhat assembled. I've pre-tinned all of my pads. I mean, it's really just going to be you here watching me connect wires together, which, not very exciting, but I don't care. This is how I do it. So, I've gone ahead and assembled the frame a little bit. This frame is tiny. One of the things that took me the longest to do was figure out how I'm gonna fit these things in here, and I don't have that many different components that I'm going to fit in there. I mean, it's the receiver, the VTX, and the all-in-one board. You would think you could fit that all in there, but this thing is tiny. So anyway, I'm gonna, do it how I think works best. What I'm gonna do is I've already cut my wires to the lengths I want them at too. So it may look a little funny what I'm doing, but there is a method to my madness, and you will see in the end, hopefully, what I'm trying to do. So let's get started before this goes on for too long, which it already has. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, let's just get the frame out of the way. Set that over there, I don't need it at the moment. What essentially is going to happen in my stack is they're going to sit on top of each other, just like that. I'm going to have a little stack. So, first thing I want to do is I want to connect this receiver with the all-in-one board. Well, let's just pull this guy off because I already have the pins, and it's gonna fold around like this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wire this bad boy up. Black goes to ground. Here, let's get this closer. Don't know if you can read that, but black is gonna go to ground right here next to the mini USB. Then there's a pad just for S-bus, so that's the white wire, and then there's the 5.5 volt pad, and that will be our power. So I'm going to go ahead and connect those up. I've already measured out how I want it to go, so let's get started. Alright, so the white one is signal. I'm going to start off with the ground, which is closest to that mini USB. So this should be the most difficult one to start with, and let's just get it out of the way. And there we go. There's one. It's amazing how quick that happens when you pre-solder everything. So there's that. Next comes the S-bus pad right next to it. You gotta be really careful not to hit some of these little components, and I'm having trouble because this is sliding around. Boop. And there you go, that's connected. And last but not least is the power, and we're going to put that on a 5 volt power spot. If I can pick it up with my fat fingers. And that guy is in. Alright. My build's going to be quick, you guys. This isn't going to be one where you sit here for 45 minutes and you're going, come on, dude, just get to it. There we go. That's how you wire it up for the Turnigy receiver that I have. It's just going to end up going boop right under here like this and connecting right there. Boom. So there's that already done. Keep that out of the way. Alright, next we have to hook up our VTX. And this VTX is pretty simple. I have 3 wires over here and I'm just gonna, color code it here. Let's start with the power wire, and that's gonna go right here on this pad, the 24 volt pad right there, up to 24. I think it's 7 to 24. We're just gonna put that on there. Lickety split. I'm going to have it going backwards over the VTX because I'm going to have to connect it directly to the battery power. So it's going to actually come over backwards. It's going to look a little funky if I can actually get things going here. All right, and we're just going to sit this bad boy on the top. I told you guys would get a chance to see my soldering unskilledness. That's a word, unskilledness. All right, power's connected. Next, right next to it is our ground wire. That one is going to be on a different ground, so towards the front where this receiver's connected. So I'm going to go ahead and put that forward instead of backwards like I did on the power. Come on. There we go. Boom, connected. And last but not least, I could just connect the camera's power, the camera's signal directly to this and bypass going through the board. But they have a video in and a video out. I don't know if there's any filtering on there, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to use them because they're there and see how that turns out for me. So this is another one where I'm just going to go straight forward and come on, little solder. There we go. Boom. So let's get a closer look at this before we move on. This power is going to go back over the top to the battery, and then this is our ground wire, and this is our signal wire. So now that we have that connected, I need to attach these to the flight controller here. What's going to happen is, you'll see here in a minute, is we're going to connect the ground to this little blob right there that says ground, and the video out is going to be our yellow signal, and the red power wire is going to go all the way down here to the plus on the VBAT. So let's connect that up. If you're hearing weird noises in the background, those are my 3 dogs. They are ever present and ever annoying in my life. So let's see, now how do I want to hook these up? So it's going to sit basically on the top here, just like this. And I'm going to whip them around up over the top. So I'm going to sit this down backwards like this and see if I can do it that way. I may have to go lefty here, so be prepared. Oh no, get in there. And these pads are tiny, you guys, so try to get in and out real quick without a whole lot of heat. Try not to connect anything to anything else. That makes a lot of sense, Austin. Don't connect anything to anything else. I'm not a professional. Alright, here we go. So, I got that. The last one I need to hook up is the power. I have the ground and the signal. So I'm going to flip this over. Eventually I'll go in and I'll put like a little soft pad under there, but I'm not quite sure whether or not it's going to sit on top of the flight controller or if I'm going to zip tie it to the top plate on the quad's frame. It might just zip tie right there, or right there. So I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. I did plan this out, sort of. So anyway, so for right now it's just going to hang loose, and if I need to I can stick a little pad under there. This guy needs to be hooked up to the VBAT. I almost just grabbed the hot end of the soldering iron. That would have been great. Alright. No, come on. I'm having issues. Come on. Alright, that's connected. It ain't pretty, but it'll get the job done. Let me show you how terrible that is. Look how bad that is. But it's going to work, I think. I hope. I don't know. So, essentially, that is my setup. We have 3 wires left to connect. So we're doing pretty good. We're only at 10 minutes. Well, I feel like that's pretty good, and I only get one shot at this, so I better stop yabbering. Um, Here is my camera. It's already assembled in the head of the quad. And what I'm going to do is I'm only hooking up the power, the ground, and the video signal, and it comes with this nice little connector right here, so I'm just going to pop out the connector. I've already measured it to the lengths I want. That makes sense with my frame. And so I'm going to go ahead and connect these bad boys up. What's going to happen is the red is the power. The camera can take a wide range of power, so I'm going to connect it directly to the VBAT. And we'll have to do that all over again like I did on the last one. So here we go. Make sure I don't burn anything else as I'm trying to get this guy on here now. And these wires are tiny. Alright, that went much smoother than the last one. So now, this guy's going to connect up and over the top in a fashion like this. So, now I need to get the signal and the ground. And I may have to share a ground pad. So I'm going to move this out of my way. And I'm going to share the ground pad all the way here on this side. It's the easiest to get to, and we'll see how that goes because I already have something connected to it. So chances are I'm going to end up desoldering something because I am not that skilled. Alright, here we go. Let's try it. Ho ho ho! I think we got it. I'm amazed. Uh-oh, why did I keep messing with it? Why? Why, Austin? Jeez, I should have just left it, you guys. And there goes the dogs! Hey! Knock it off! Sorry if that got loud. Alright, and I think I've really screwed the pooch on that because I think I've gone ahead and connected two of these wires that didn't used to be connected. I got two pads together. Now I'm going to have to do this all over again. I should have just left it alone. I think I did it. Alright, now I need to get those signal wires back to where they're supposed to be, so that'll be another challenge because it's right next to that pad. I just did. And if you can't tell, my soldering iron is a hunk of junk. I don't take care of it very well. So if you want like your tools to actually work, you should take care of them. Whereas this thing, I got it at Walmart. I've left this thing plugged in overnight. I've almost like burned down my house. So anyway, that's that. And alright, last one. This is the signal wire for the camera. And I need two hands to set this up. Let's see. And this is going to go into the video in pad. If I can get it to sit still for 5 seconds. This is where those helping hands things would be really, really awesome. I don't have those. Alright, and fingers crossed. Boom. No, not quite. There we go. Now that's a good connection. Alright. So, at this point, it's just a jumbled freaking mess, right? And it's not too bad. Pretty clean. I'm going to bring it up. This is clean for me. So, this is our receiver. Got the ground, white signal wire, and 5 volt for the power. Then, we got this guy. The red wire is power for the camera. The yellow wire is video in from the camera into the board. And then the black is ground. Wow, this really is ugly. Now, on the other side of that, we have the VTX, and this yellow wire is video out. And then the black is ground, and this red comes to the back and gets all fixed up there, and that gives us power. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for that part. All that's left to do is hook up some motors to it. And you're going, Austin, why aren't you doing this on the frame? And that's because I've already measured all my lengths. I know it's going to work, so I'm not too worried about it. At this point, I'm just going to go ahead and solder my motors on. And I like to directly solder them without having to switch wires over to switch motor direction. I like to just go into BL Heli and switch them to the direction I need. That's less complicated, and it makes for a cleaner build, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just start soldering these motors. And I will probably babble as I do it, as is my method. So let's go there. Alright, I think all three of those are on. This one's kind of wonky, but we'll get it to work one way or another. This is an ugly big spider thing. Okay, assembly time. What's gonna happen is I'm not gonna actually put the camera on the front of it yet because it gets in the way. This thing's got a really bad placement for the USB, and it's going to be right up against this metal frame on the head. So I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to get Betaflight set up first, and then I will, after that, I will definitely hook up the camera and test it. But for right now, I don't really need to. I'm going to grab some of this double stick foam, and I'm just going to use it to kind of pad between the two boards. I think it's going to be tight enough in there that this thing isn't going to go anywhere. Like it's going to be locked in. It's connected to the board. If I need to, I'll zip tie it down, but I don't think I'm going to need to. So there's that. And what's going to happen is this whole thing, it looks like an ugly spider. That you turn off that soldering iron. So what's going to happen here is make sure I'm doing this correctly. Let's see. Yes, that is the direction it goes. Right? Flip that. Flip this. Alright. Why did I do it this way? I told you guys I am not an expert by any means. You might as well call this video, hey, this is what you shouldn't do when you're building a quad. Alright, we'll put that under there. Let's see. Let's get the motors over there. This should be a challenge, I think. I promise you, I tested this all out. It should work. But we will see. Haha! Boom! There it is. That's under there. It's got a little foam pad. Let's get some little nuts on there to keep this thing from popping off while I'm trying. Oh, awesome. That was great. Okay. Step 1, look like an idiot. Step 2, build a quad. Alright. These little nuts drive me nuts. So one thing about this board is that all of the mounting holes are connected to the V-mat. So like you gotta have plastic screws, otherwise you're gonna end up with it shorting out your board or doing bad things. I don't know enough about electricity, but I do know that you do not want the power to be connected to the metal screws that are going into your carbon fiber frame. So don't do that. So plastic screws, way to go. Oh, that was much easier than the first one. Let's get that down nice and tight so this board isn't rattling around. Now I haven't soft mounted this. I haven't tried soft mounting yet on anything, so I don't know what the best way to go about it is, and I haven't tried it, and so far everything's worked out, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Alright, so we got two little nuts there on, and let's see, there we go with that guy. tight. Got plenty of replacements, so if I accidentally strip something, I'm not too worried about it. Ooh, I might have a solder blob in the way for this one. Let's get that on there. I think the hardest part about this video so far is trying not to be boring. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I could just sit here quietly and do one of those videos with the music in the background and kind of looks like a time lapse and you just watch me do things and there's no explanation. But I don't feel like that's very much fun. And so I am not going to do that kind of video. Alright, so it looks like I got one a little long on my motors, but that'll allow me to place them where I want and zip tie them down. And let's see, let's mount those motors now, actually, because it'll keep things from flopping around while I'm trying to maneuver things into place. And then once I get that all set up, I'm gonna stop the camera, go to the beta flight section of this, and we'll see how that goes. These are 3mm. I don't like the feel of it right at the moment. I feel like I might have cross-threaded some stuff. Okay. Boom. Alright, let's flip this over. Alright, so at this point, I think we're pretty much almost there. This little guy, the VTX, now needs to be popped in the back. I'm just going to put this right on there to keep it from sliding around. I should get like a locking nut or something like that, but it's tight enough. I'm not too worried about it. There's that. Again, I think I'm just going to put a little sticky underneath this for now. Decide later whether or not I need to either zip tie it or you know, maybe double stick it and zip tie it. I don't know. See how that goes. Yeah, that's exactly where I wanted that. I kid. Okay, so that's gonna go there like that. Now, I'm gonna wire these from the receiver back through the bottom of the frame so they stay tucked out of the way and don't get caught up in the propellers. Later, I might go back and use some longer zip ties and heat shrink to give them. I think I'm gonna call this video good. This is part 2. I am gonna make sure it all works on Betaflight, and I will come back and we will finish the assembly and all the minor details, and then eventually I made it. So if you made it through, man, we're at like 36 minutes. I'm really actually gonna have to learn how to edit. But there we go. I think this is where we're gonna stop for right now. And I will see you in episode 3. Like and comment or whatever you want to do, and I'll try to answer. And we'll see, you know, if we can get this thing in the air quickly, because I'm excited. All right, guys, peace out.